A political figure on a mission to eradicate prostitution ends up falling in love with a prostitute. The ending will leave you utterly perplexed. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so to get the latest Nigerian movies from us. Today, we'll be talking about a captivating new Nigerian movie that's more than just entertainment. It's filled with important life lessons, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Let's get into the story. The movie begins with a man named Harry, who works as a special advisor to the government on community matters. He's being interviewed by some journalists. During the interview, he promises to complete the construction of a local school and to rid the community of pickpockets, thugs, and prostitutes in order to restore peace and order. Later that day, while Harry was heading out, he encountered a young lady named Osas, who is an escort. She insulted him, and his driver, Paul, consoled him as they left the scene. Harry was determined to get Osas evicted from the estate, despite the fact that she was placed there by a highly influential person. Around the same time, Harry received another threatening message on his phone. Paul advised him to report the threat to the police, but Harry didn't act on it immediately. That evening, Harry entered Osas's house during a party and turned off the loud music. He criticized everyone present, calling them names. However, Osas confronted him and angrily sent him out, especially after he embarrassed her guests. Back in his room, Paul showed Harry a video of the confrontation that had gone viral on social media. Harry's superior, referred to as His Excellency, called him, concerned about the public image. Harry assured him that the matter would be handled. He then instructed Paul to contact the journalist who interviewed him earlier to help remove the video post. The next morning, the interviewers returned. Harry explained that Osas brought in questionable women who were a bad influence, corrupting children and seducing married men. He insisted he was only trying to restore decency to the environment. When Osas was later interviewed, she denied Harry's claims and dismissed the reporters from her premises. While Harry was driving, he received a call from His Excellency, instructing him to leave the matter alone because the situation on social media was becoming too controversial. However, after ending the call, Harry remained adamant. He still wanted Osas out of the estate to set an example. Later that day, Osas appeared worried. One of her friends, also in the escort business, was gravely ill. The nurse informed her that despite several attempts, the girl's condition wasn't improving, and many hospitals were refusing to admit her because they couldn't diagnose her properly. Osas comforted her friend in her time of distress. That same day, Harry gave Paul a 2-week leave to visit his mother, who was the only family he had left. Paul expressed concern about the long journey, but Harry insisted he go, and Paul eventually left. Early the next morning, Harry and Osas ran into each other while returning from their morning jog. They exchanged harsh words and angrily went their separate ways. Later, just as Osas was about to meet with a client, one of her friends informed her that the estate manager had issued them a warning. Osas immediately suspected Harry was behind it. She apologized to her client, then stormed over to Harry's house to confront him. They argued again. Harry accused her of running a brothel in a residential area, which he saw as a threat to the community. He promised to take her down, and she left angrily. The next morning, as Harry was getting ready for work, he discovered his car tire was flat. He immediately suspected Osas and went to her room to confront her. They exchanged threats once again. Just as Harry was about to call his mechanic, an unknown man suddenly appeared and stabbed him before fleeing the scene. Fortunately, some of Osas's girls saw what happened and quickly rushed Harry inside to help him. When Osas found out that Harry was connected to the government, she immediately instructed her girls to take him out, saying he posed a serious risk to their operation. After she left, her girls discussed what to do next. They didn't feel right about abandoning Harry on the street. They pleaded with Osas to reconsider, but she remained firm. She wanted him gone. When they finally tried to carry him out, they had to bring him back quickly because security agents were now all over the estate. The next day, Osas called the nurse who had been taking care of Harry. When Harry regained consciousness, he tried to leave, but he was too weak to move. The doctor comforted him and told him he should be grateful to Osas because she saved his life. After the doctor left, Osus told Harry to leave, but due to the threats he had been receiving, he begged her to let him stay, saying her house was the safest place for him at the moment. He also asked to use her phone to make a call, but she refused because she still didn't trust him. Then she walked away. Guys, do you think it's wise to allow the very person who once threatened your peace to stay in your house just because they are now vulnerable? This part of the movie teaches us that some people can still show love and mercy, even to those who've wronged them. But the question is, if the government finds out about this, what would happen next? Let's keep watching to find out. Later that day, some of Osus's girls visited Harry. They spoke to him about the good things Osus had done for them. He asked to borrow one of their phones, but they refused. Osus had warned them not to trust him, and they obeyed her. That night, Harry had a terrible nightmare which woke him up suddenly, but he eventually went back to sleep. The next morning, some of Osus's girls were quarreling loudly. Osus stepped in and scolded them, telling them to love one another and never to insult each other's parents. After calming them down, she left. Meanwhile, in Osus's room, Harry was searching for a phone but couldn't find one. Osus reminded him that he wouldn't find any, regardless of the threats he claimed to be facing. As she began undressing in front of him, he respectfully left the room. Later in the living room, Osus and her girls were playing a game of truth or dare. When Harry passed by, they dragged him into the game, but since he didn't enjoy their company, he excused himself and walked away. One day, Harry asked the nurse about Osus, and she told him that Osus and her girls had recently visited an orphanage, bringing food, money, and paying the children's medical bills. The nurse added that when she was going through a rough time, Osus had also helped her. "Osus is a caring person who loves helping others," the nurse exclaimed. Harry was shocked by what he heard and once again asked to use her phone, but she refused due to Osus's strict instructions. Later that day, Harry went to see Osus. He praised her for what the nurse had shared with him. Although he still didn't like the nature of her work, he admitted he admired how she helped people. Just then, one of Osus's clients called, and Harry respectfully stepped aside to give her privacy. Later, Osus went to Harry's room. He spoke kindly to her, thinking she had truly changed. But when he realized she was still in the same line of work, they began arguing again. Moments later, Harry heard a loud scream and rushed to find out what had happened. But one of Osus's girls stopped him from getting involved. Even when the nurse and Osus came out, they refused to tell him what was going on, despite his willingness to help. Harry took that opportunity to appeal to Osus again, urging her to leave her current lifestyle and try something legitimate. He then walked away. Now the big question: will Osus be willing to give up her risky lifestyle? Or will she continue with the business she knows best? Let's find out. The next day, in the kitchen, Harry had a conversation with one of Osus's girls who confessed her feelings for him. Osus walked in on their conversation, but didn't say anything. After she left, Harry began teasing Osus in a playful, flirtatious way. Though tempted, she managed to resist. Eventually, she gave him her phone so he could finally make his call. That evening, as Osus's girls entertained Harry, he changed the music and invited Osus to dance. He said lovely things about her during the dance, which made her shy. While dancing, he once again tried to convince her to change her ways, but she asked him to stop talking and just enjoy the moment. Later, in her room, Osus opened up to Harry. She explained that she had been in the business for 2 years. During their conversation, Harry expressed that he liked her and encouraged her to pursue something better. He also told her he didn't want to be with someone who had to share herself with other men. Osus understood what he meant, and he left her room. The next morning, Paul returned to visit Harry. He brought a new phone and shared some confidential information with him. Just then, Osus entered the living room, and Harry was visibly distracted by her presence. Days later, while Osus was alone in her room, her girls came in carrying several gifts. As they celebrated and thanked her, singing praises for how far she had brought them in life, Harry stood quietly in the background, watching the scene unfold. However, Harry and Osus began to enjoy each other's company. One day, while in her room, Harry opened up completely, expressing his love and deep attraction for her. He told Osus he was willing and ready to help her start a new life and begin something meaningful for herself. But Osus was hesitant. She didn't want to ruin his reputation or political position because of love. Harry insisted, though it was clearly a difficult decision for both of them. Not long after, one of Osus's girls rushed in, saying that another girl in the room wasn't breathing. They all ran to check. When they got to the room, Harry was shocked. The girl was someone he had grown up with. He had spent years trying to talk her out of selling her body for money, but she never listened. Later that evening, the nurse arrived to check on her. She said she would return after running some tests. While waiting, Harry and Osus sat together and talked about all the beautiful moments they had shared with Cassie, who was like family to Harry and a best friend to Osus. But moments later, the heartbreaking news came. Cassie had passed away. Everyone in the hospital was overwhelmed with grief and burst into tears. It was truly sad and unfortunate to lose someone so valuable. As everyone mourned Cassie's death, Harry stayed close to Osus, comforting her in her room because the pain was too much for her to bear. One day, Paul came to Harry and informed him that the threat he had been receiving had been neutralized. As Paul left, Harry shared the news with Osus. While expressing his feelings for her, he received a phone call from His Excellency, so he stepped outside to take it. Moments later, Osus and her girls held a small party, more like a send-off or farewell celebration, expressing how much they would miss Harry. They shared kind words about him. Harry was touched. But just as Osus was walking him to his apartment, some interviewers showed up at her door and began questioning Harry. They asked how he could be in love with a prostitute after previously speaking out against such people. The questions upset Osus so much that she dropped the cake she was holding and locked herself in her room. Harry rushed after her and begged her to open the door. When she did, he explained himself and encouraged her to see the positive side of everything. He told her she could be loved and that she still had value. But Osus explained that she had tried to change before, and because people didn't accept her, she returned to her old ways. She raised her voice and asked Harry to leave, and he did. From that day on, Harry tried to reach Osus, but she refused to answer his calls. Osus's girls noticed the change. They asked her what was going on because she had stopped seeing her clients, which surprised them. One day, Harry ran into Osus and her girls. He simply waved and said nothing before walking away. Her girls were stunned. Paul also asked Harry what had happened, knowing how much he wanted to be with Osus, but Harry told him to focus on the main task for the day and said nothing more. One night, while Osus's girls were throwing a lively party as they usually did, Osus wasn't interested. She quietly left them and went to her room. On one particular morning, Osus's girls woke her up and showed her a video that had gone viral. It was Harry, giving a heartfelt speech about his experience with Osus and her girls, the same people who had once saved his life. In the video, he explained that although he had once spoken against them, he had now chosen a different path. He promised not to throw them out onto the streets as he had initially said. Instead, he wanted to help them by providing therapy sessions and supporting them in starting businesses of their choice. These ventures would be supervised to ensure success. He made it clear that his intention was to offer solutions, not judgment. He even expressed his love for Osus in the video. Deeply moved by what she saw, Osus went to Harry's apartment. There, she professed her love for him and promised to follow his guidance and make improvements in her life. They shared a heartfelt moment together. Years later, after Harry and Osus got married, Osus was shown sending her girls out to deliver goods to customers, indicating they had started legitimate businesses. Meanwhile, Harry visited her just to spend some quality time with his wife. This movie teaches us a powerful lesson. We must be patient with people. Many are willing to change, but they need proper guidance and genuine support. No matter what you see or hear, never judge anyone. Change is a personal choice, and with love, help, and belief, a better life is possible. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more interesting updates and the latest Nigerian movies. See you next time.